my YouTube family. How is everyone doing? In this video today I'm going to show you a crochet garment. It's made in one piece. It's worked in the round from the top to the bottom. It started off as a skirt and can be worn as a skirt, but it can also be worn 6 other ways. So what I call the waist in this video has to also fit around your shoulders if you choose to wear it as a capelet. If not, don't worry about that. So, are you ready? Here we go. Now my garment is a size medium. It measures across the top area, the waistline, 16.5 inches across. The flare right at the very bottom measures 20.5 inches across. And the length from top to bottom is 16 inches. For this project, I'll be using Mayflower yarn that I got from Hobie. It is 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. The acrylic in the yarn allows your garment to have a stretch to it. This says number 1, but to me it looks more like a number 2. It's a 50-gram ball, 175 meters. And I used about 3 and less than a half of the 4th ball. I used a 4mm hook, 5mm, 6mm, and a 7mm hook for this project. Okay, let's get started. Okay, starting with your 4mm hook, make a chain that's going to fit around your waist at about 1 inch or 2, or whatever is going to fit around your girl area, your breast area. So what I'm starting with is a chain of 126. Your chain must be in multiples of 3. So let's just make a chain in multiples of 3. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And I'll meet you back at the end of the chain. When you get to the end of your chain, you're going to connect your chain with a slip knot. I'm sorry, with a slip stitch. And then right where you connected it, you're going to chain 1. No, sorry. And then you're going to go right into that same stitch with a single crochet. Then you're going to make a single crochet in every chain around your circle. And then I will meet you when you've completed your single crochets. When you're finished your first round of single crochet, slip into the first single crochet that you made. Slip stitch in there, I'm sorry. And then chain one. And then go back into that same single crochet with a single crochet. And then we're going to make single crochets in all the single crochets we made in the previous round. So then we'll have 2 rows of single crochets. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, here I am at the end of the second row of single crochets. Then what you want to do is make a slip stitch into the first single crochet that you made, which is right here. Slip stitch in there. Chain 1. And now right below that chain 1 you just made, right in this space, we're going to make a double crochet. We're going to make a double crochet into every single crochet from the previous round. Your rounds should all have the same number of stitches as you had in your starting chain. Okay, I'll meet you at this double crochet row at the end. Okay, now we're at the end of the double crochet round. Now you need to have the same amount of double crochets as chains when you first started your project. If you have 126 chains like I started with, you must have 126 double crochets. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet you did. Then you're going to chain 1, and then in this space right under the chain 1 you just did, you want to make a double crochet, and then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, go into the third with a double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches, go into the third with a double crochet. There's 1 stitch, 2 stitch, and then the third stitch. Third stitch is right here. Put a double crochet in there. Chain 2. This is the pattern that we're going to be doing around this entire row. Skip 2 stitches, go into the third one right here with a double crochet. I'll do that again. Chain 2, skip 2, into the third with a double crochet. Do this right to the end of this round. And this is what it will look like. you get near to the end of that round, you will chain 2, there'll be 2 stitches here that you skip, 1, 2, and then you're going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet right here. Just do a slip stitch. Now what you're going to do is chain 1, chain 1, put a double crochet in that very same stitch, and then you're going to put two double crochets into the chain 2 space, and then right on top of this double crochet you're going to put a double crochet. And then put 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space. It's 1, 2, and then a double crochet into that top of that double crochet there. And you do this all the way around. Two double crochets in the chain 2 space, and then a double crochet in the top of that double crochet. And then you're going to get back into having, if you started with 126 chains like I did, you'll end up with getting back into the having 126 stitches. Now when you get to the end of your second row of double crochets, slip stitch into the first double crochet. Chain 1, and then make a single crochet right into this first stitch here where you put the chain 1. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, and we're going to make 5 double crochets in the third one. And this will be our first fan stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and make a single crochet in the third. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, make 5 double crochets in the third. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, make a single crochet in the third, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, make 5 double crochets in the third, And that's the pattern we're going to do around this row. So just continue on with that, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Now at the end of row 7, you should finish with a shell stitch. And then where you put your stitch marker in that single crochet, we're going to do a slip stitch in there. Okay, now we've completed our first row of the shell stitches. So now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to put 5 double crochets into that stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can move our stitch marker to the first double crochet that we made there to keep track of our rows, because eventually our rows are gonna be just going around and around and around, and it might be a little difficult to find which row you're actually on. Okay, so you can pull the stitches apart. That's the chain 1 we did. And then this is the first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to go into the top of that double crochet, the first one, with a stitch marker. Okay, so now this is row 2 of our shells, which is row 8 from the very beginning. Okay, now we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and in the top of the middle of your shell, you'll put a single crochet. And then you skip 2 stitches, and in this single crochet from the previous round, we'll put the 5 double crochets to make the shell. Skip the next 2 stitches, go into the third one with a single crochet. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, go into the single crochet from the previous round with 5 double crochets. Three, 4, 5. Now we're still using the 4mm hook. Skip 2, 1, 2, go in the third one with a single crochet. Skip 1, 2, go in the third one, which is the single crochet from the previous round, with 5 double crochets. And we'll continue this pattern around this round, which is row 8, or the second row of your shell stitches. And this is how it will look. You have shell stitches there, here and here, 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 here. So you're just building rows of shell stitches. I'll meet you at the end of this row. Now we're at the end of our second row of shells. So you skip 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to pull this apart. We're going to take a look up here first. Let's see, we have, there's our 5 double crochets. We're going to put a single crochet in here, up here. So that was, let's see. Yes, we want to skip these 2. So in this very, very, very teensy weensy little spot, okay, 1, 2 is what we skip. In this very teensy weensy little spot here, we're going to put our 5 double crochets right in there. And now we are going to skip 2, 1, 2, and in the third one, which is the very center of this shell, we're going to put a single crochet. We're going to take our stitch marker and move it to the beginning of this row. So we have a general idea of where our row starts. Because the way I'm doing it is I'm using the 4mm for so many rows, and then I'm going to switch to a 5mm for so many rows, a 6mm for so many rows, and a 7mm hook for so many rows. Okay, so you just continue on with that. Same pattern, row after row after row, to make your item as long as you would like it to be. I will let you know how many rows I did with the 4mm, 5, 6, and 7mm. You can do as many rows as you want with each size. And what it's going to do is it's going to make your garment go out, expand. Now I did about 5 rows using each hook size. 5 rows using the 4mm, 5 using the 5mm, 5 using the 6mm, and 5 using the 7mm. So I got the desired length. It comes just above my knee if you're going to be wearing this as a skirt. That's where mine comes to. So now what I want to do is I want to clean up the top. So I'm just going to make single crochet all the way around the top of my piece. Oops, oh, so sorry. Camera is right in my face. Okay, so just going to put my yarn in here with my 4mm hook that I originally started with. I'm just gonna make a slip knot here. Chain one, and then make a single crochet all the way around just to tidy up that beginning chain. So you can go ahead and do that all the way around your garment. And at the end you just slip stitch into your beginning single crochet and fasten off. See how much nicer that makes it look compared to this? Now here we are at the end of that row of single crochets. So what you want to do is just make a slip knot into the top. I'm sorry, a slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet you did. And then cut your yarn and then sew in the end. Okay, let's sew in the ends. And just weave it in. On the wrong side of your garment. I like to go back and forth, then I know it's gonna stay. Weave it back and forth. Cut it, and that one's done. And just continue doing that with all your ends. Now remember, we had made these stitches. Now that is to run a drawstring through. So now we're going to make a drawstring. Now how I'm going to do that is I am doubling the yarn that I used for the garment because it is quite thin. You can double it, triple it, quadruple it, however you want your drawstring to be, how thick you want it to be. So all we're going to do is we're going to make a chain. I'm going to leave a long end in case I decide I want to add beads onto it. Did I say a long chain, a long tail? All right, so we're just going to make a chain and make it the width of your garment and then more because you want to be able to tie it into a bow. All right. So Just gonna go ahead and make a long chain. So just continue making your drawstring, and then I will show how it's weaved into the garment. Now I've decided I'm going to add some beads. So I threaded the needle. Now it seems like every time I hit record, the color of my garment changes on camera. It's actually kind of like a burgundy color in real life. Okay, so I just put a few beads on there. Then I'll tie it. Oh, sorry. Tie it as close to the beads as I can get. In probably several knots. You can actually, if you have a long enough piece of yarn, you could double it and then tie it. Okay, I'm just going to fix that a little bit off camera, but you get the idea, right? And then the other strand, if you use 2 strands like I did, you can just sew this right up into your chain. Okay, I'll be right back. Now to weave your drawstring into the spaces, you just go in and out. It's pretty simple. Just go in and out. You went behind that one, just skip one, go behind the next one. And so on and so forth. And you are finished. Thank you so much for following along with me and making your own garment using my tutorial. Feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of my little YouTube family.